Hi, and welcome to 2025. This video I'm very excited for. One of my future videos this year is going to be for a costume from a film that I've loved since I was a child, and I'm going to go a little bit more into that costume when I make that video. But in order to make that costume, I first need to make an underdress, or a chemise, if you will. For anyone who doesn't know what a chemise is, it's basically a historical garment made of cotton or linen where people would wear them underneath their dresses so that they didn't have to wash their outer dresses as much, because all of the sweat and dirt would get onto the chemise, which was way more durable and way more easy to wash. I need to make that for this dress mainly because the style of the dress means that you would see underneath it, so you need a chemise for it, but also again for those historical purposes of I don't really want to have my bare skin on the fabric for that dress, because it's gonna be summertime when I wear it and I'll probably be quite sweaty, so it's just best to wear one of those garments to protect it. But also the fabric I have for that dress I just don't imagine will be particularly comfortable on my skin. I have never made one of these before. However, I have the crafter's audacity. What I will be using for this is some curtains. I got these from Vinted. They're 100% cotton, so all I'll need is these two panels, some white thread, and a sewing machine, and obviously some scissors. So, time to make chemise / ghostly Victorian nightgown. First, I was going to fold one of the curtain panels in half and then cut that into two separate panels and then cut the neck hole. And after this was done, I was going to sew the two panels back together, but this time at the shoulder seam. Just a couple of things to note for the neckline. I would definitely recommend just cutting out the neckline on the front panel instead of both the front and the back panel. As you can see, this made the neck hole far too big, and I ended up having to redo this on the second panel of curtains that I had. As for the hemming of the neckline, I just did a rolled hem, but because of the shape of the neckline, it caused a few issues which you'll see later, so I would definitely recommend doing a more circular neckline instead of a square one. I was going to measure around my bicep and times that measurement by 2 for the width of my sleeve, and then also measure from my armpit until my wrist for the length of the sleeve. And then I would measure the length of thread that I needed against how big I wanted the armhole to be, and then I would gather stitch the shoulder seam and attach it to the main body of the dress, and then I would gather stitch the wrists with 3 rows of stitches. I just want to note that this should have been the stage where I hemmed the sleeves. that would have been a lot more logical and a lot more easier. So just to let you know that this is the stage that you should be hemming your sleeves to the length that you want. For the final step, all I needed to do was just sew up the bottom of the sleeve and then the sides of the main body of the dress. It's a couple of days later, and I'll be honest, I was not expecting to have put as much work into this in one evening. Let's talk about the things I like. I'm very pleased with the sleeves, with the puffiness of them. I think the amount of fabric I chose for it was good. It fits me, the neckline's not too big, the length is good. I do quite like the sort of dropped shoulder look. It gives it a little bit of like a historical Mr. Darcy kind of vibe. However, there are quite a few issues with it. So this neckline, I kind of thought this might be an issue before I did it. I just didn't know how else to do the neckline because I don't have any bias tape and I was too lazy to try and make any. It kind of just like folds out at the corners here. That if I kind of like pinch a couple of small pleats in each of the corners, then it'll fix that. So that's that. The armpit holes, they do fit, but I definitely could have made them like come down a little bit more. They're not too small, so I'll probably just leave it. And then the sleeves. See, I was so worried of making the wrist part of the sleeves too small that I wouldn't be able to get my hand through them, but I actually ended up making them kind of too big. I did try making them a bit smaller, but it didn't make them nearly small enough. So I don't know whether to like seam pick this, fold in two of the edges, and then use like a button and a loop, or get two pieces of ribbon. It's all a learning process, and that's all that matters. On to future Shannon. Ooh. For now, we can say that it's done. Considering I had no pattern, I didn't follow a tutorial, I just did it based off years of watching sewing YouTube content. Walking around in it doesn't restrict me at all. The only bit is if I go up the stairs, which I can just kind of... And it only took me like 6 hours to do across like 2 days. Thanks to my sewing machine. What would I do without you? Now that I have this done and I know that I can construct a dress by myself, just knowing that I can do that is just a nice confidence boost to have. I've been wanting something with puffy sleeves for ages, and especially with summer coming up. It's really nice, it's really soft. I could easily sleep in this, not gonna lie. Thanks so much for watching, and for anyone who's been watching my videos, thanks so much, I really appreciate it. And for anyone new who has just recently joined from my last video, I will be doing some more gaming videos as well. I appreciate you watching, and I'd love if you subscribed to watch my next video. Hopefully you'll see me very soon with part 2. Bye.